everyone, welcome back. Tonight we're going to be starting episode 3 in our Objective Growth series, and we're going to be continuing our conversation about the frustration and fire inside of your business. So I'm Dr. Travis Goodson, and I'm very glad that you are here. So who is the you on the other side of the screen? Well, this video series is specifically and tailor-made for directors and above inside of large corporations that have data science teams that are native to them. If you don't have one, that's totally fine. Stay here for the education. But if you have a data science team and you're wondering about what to do with them or how they fit into your strategy, this is for you. So continue our conversation from last night. We looked at the nature, scope, and direction of the problem that is the fire in your business. That fire specifically is the misalignment, underutilization, or just the general animosity that builds up between data science teams and their executives. So with that, let's take and turn our attention to some of the more recent statistics involving what keeps you, the chief executive officer of a large corporation, up at nighttime. Well, we know from Inc.com that there are 5 main things that keep you up at nighttime. In that mix is talent management and economic downturn, and then obviously human resource and financial management in such a volatile period in our country. But also we're looking at the historical advances in technology. And if we look at that, there's a trend year after year after year, especially in the last 5 to 10 years. One of the things that keeps you as a CEO up every single night is how you're going to adapt to the shifting technological climate that is artificial intelligence, machine learning, and the ever-increasing technology demands of the clients that you serve. So if that's what's keeping you up at night, let's go back to our previous episode and talk about comfort levels with technology, especially those that are native to your own organization. So we know that 63% of CEOs say, nope, we're not data-driven. We know that 67% of those same individuals, those CEOs say, no, I don't feel comfortable using my own data, or, looking at data science tools, that's not really what I do. So if one of the things keeping you up at nighttime is the advances in technology, you have access to a team, but 67% out of 100 are saying, I'm not comfortable with it. What are we doing to close that gap? That's really what we're after in this series, is to look at some solutions to the problems that you as an executive face. So let's take an alternate perspective and look at 2 of those issues rolled into one. So one of the things keeping you up at nighttime is obviously talent management, recruiting and retention. That's a huge deal in today's marketplace. The second thing keeping you up at night as a CEO is, what am I going to do to compete in technology, or at bare minimum keep up with the demands that my clients have? Well, looking at it from a data scientist perspective, did you know that on average, according to some different studies that have been done, 20% of data scientists at any given moment are looking for alternate roles in other organizations? They spend an average of 1 to 2 hours a week scouring the internet, looking for new positions, leaving you and your team high and dry. Let that sink in for a second. If you have data scientists right now that are frustrated, you are at risk for losing the talent that you already have. And that makes you less competitive in the technology market, and it goes through and weighs on you heavily because you're experiencing churn. So 2 of the top 5 concerns that you have, you can address right here, right now. So let's turn our attention to some of the reasons that these data science teams are leaving in droves, or at least looking, whether they be in your organization or in another. So to give you a competitive advantage, let's run down the list of some of the main reasons that these data science teams are frustrated. One is the political environment inside of companies, right? So there's this thing that they do that is data science, but it's not done in a vacuum, and it sits squarely in the middle of all the politics involved in the business decisions that are made, all the way from the most junior team member to the CEO. And some of those politics sometimes make communicating the results of what they're trying to achieve very difficult, not because the data science is difficult, but because perhaps the person on the other receiving end doesn't want to hear the negative news. Also, there's some other things at play here. We have this expectation in higher echelons of business that everything needs to happen now. Well, 80% of a data scientist's time is dedicated to extracting, transforming, cleaning, and making sure that the data is ready and prepared to visualize. So if you're saying, hey, you have a week's worth of time to get this project done, you can bet 3, 4, maybe even 5 days of that is spent just getting the data prepared to a point where it can be visualized. So if you're expecting your data science team to just crank out results, understand that the results are coming, but it takes a length of time and allocations to make sure that you have a quality end result. Also, some things is lack of support, or lack of involvement in the strategic process of what you're trying to achieve. There are ways that you can go through and mitigate this, but on average, these are the things that your data science teams across the US and possibly across the globe are experiencing at any given moment. So, building on the conversation from last night and addressing this fire inside of the organization, what do we do about this? Well, first we have to recognize that as CEOs in our companies that we have, 5 huge concerns. One of them is technology and how we're going to be competitive, and the other one is how we're going to recruit and retain top talent to be competitive in our industries. Well, if we spent more time sitting down and evaluating the condition of our employees in these data science teams, and then also getting their feedback on how best to use them inside of the organization, that's a great starting point. But first, you have to look at videos like this and continue on in our series to understand the gravity of the actual issue that's at hand. You have to say, why are, my data scientists looking and spending time 1 to 2 hours a week at other roles and other organizations? And then dig down into the potential issues that arise from political bureaucracy inside of the organization. What lengths of time are we allocating to complete projects, and what are the expectations? And then what are the tangible expectations that you should have as a senior executive inside of your company? We've been given a huge challenge tonight and a lot of things to think about. So I encourage you, stick around. You made it to the end of this episode, but tune in tomorrow for episode 4, where we continue on in our series of objective growth. If you're out there and if you're looking yourself in the mirror going, what do I do next? Know that I'm here for you and that the issues that you're facing are far, far too common. So in this process, remember, stay objective.